The words hit me like a physical blow. Why is this parasite here? Get the hell out. I stood frozen in the doorway of my own beach house, weekend bag still slung over my shoulder, staring at my brother. Kevin's face was twisted with contempt. His finger jabbed at me as if I were an intruder. Behind him, his parents, his 2 brothers and an assortment of extended family lounged on my furniture, drank from my glasses, and left their shoes on my white carpet. My name is Claire. I'm 32, and a marine biologist in Charleston, South Carolina. For the last 10 years, I've built a career I'm proud of. And 3 years ago I used my savings to buy this beach house near Myrtle Beach, a 2-hour drive from Charleston, as a hard-won refuge. Standing there while Kevin screamed at me, "You'd never guess it was mine." "You heard me," he barked when I finally found my voice. Kevin had been married to my older sister Jennifer for 5 years. "We're having a family gathering here. Nobody invited you." "This is my house," I said. He shrugged. "Jennifer said we could use it this weekend." He shot back, arms folded. "So unless you want to ruin everyone's good time, you should go." I scanned the room for Jennifer. She stood by the kitchen island, eyes glued to her phone, avoiding me. 2 days earlier, at our mother's birthday dinner, I'd told her I planned to come. She'd smiled and told me to enjoy myself. Apparently, that smile had come with a set of keys and free rein to hand the place over to everyone. "Jennifer," I called through the chatter, "can we talk?" She looked up with a carefully neutral expression. "Claire, I didn't think you'd actually come. You're always so busy with work." She said she needed the weekend to decompress, then shrugged as if that justified everything. "Kevin's family needed a place to stay. The house just sits empty. I figured you wouldn't mind." "You guessed wrong." Kevin stepped nearer, jaw tight. "We've got 15 people here who drove hours. You're one person. Do the math. Go back to Charleston and come next weekend." Their smirks, and the uncomfortable looks from some relatives, mad. Something inside me changed. I'd always been the easygoing sister, loaned Jennifer money when she and Kevin were struggling, babysat their kids without complaint, helped Kevin's brother move in scorching heat. This was how they repaid me. I smiled, not kindly. Calmly, I said, "Fine, I'll leave." Kevin looked relieved, as if he'd expected a fight. I turned to the door, then paused. "So you want me to leave my own property?" "That's exactly what I'm saying. And Jennifer, you're okay with this?" She wouldn't meet my eyes. "It's just one weekend, Claire. Don't be dramatic." I left the house, the door opened behind me, and got in my car as laughter echoed inside. They thought they'd won. 3 minutes down the road, I pulled into a gas station parking lot, hands shaking with adrenaline, and started making calls. My lawyer, my property manager, and someone I'd hoped I wouldn't need. By dusk, I was still sitting there, watching the sun sink and wrestling with doubt. Was I about to burn every bridge over a weekend at a beach house? Then I remembered Kevin's sneer and Jennifer's indifferent shrug. I made my decision. I checked into a nearby mid-range hotel that night, ordered takeout, and laid out my documents. The deed, insurance papers, and a copy of an access agreement I'd fully signed when Jennifer asked to borrow the house for emergencies. "I'd been too trusting," Jennifer texted. "Why are you being so difficult? It's just one weekend. Kevin's family thinks you're crazy." I typed, "We'll talk about this later," then turned my phone off. The next morning, I drove back to Charleston to see Gregory, the lawyer I'd used when I bought the house. He listened without interrupting and confirmed what I already knew. People were occupying my property without permission, and Kevin had humiliated me in front of witnesses. Gregory outlined my options. The nuclear route was to call the police and have them removed. Messy, since Jennifer had a key. The alternative, he said with a small smile, was to make them very, very uncomfortable. I asked for details. He explained an elegant, tightly coordinated plan that was legal and effective. "Are you sure?" he asked. "Once you go down this path, there's no going back." I thought of Jennifer's refusal to defend me, of Kevin's contempt. "I'm sure," I said. By noon, things were in motion. I waited at a coffee shop and watched my phone buzz. Calls and texts from my parents, Jennifer and Kevin, all demanding I back down. Nobody asked if I was okay. Nobody apologized. They wanted the accommodating Claire. That Claire was gone. At 3 p.m., Gregory called, "It's done." I sat in my car and braced for the fallout. 12 minutes later, Jennifer's voice was panicked. "Claire, what the hell did you do? The power's out, the water's out." I kept my voice steady. "I'm the account holder. I requested a temporary suspension. Since unauthorized guests are using the utilities, I see no reason to pay for them this weekend." She gasped and hung up. Kevin called next. furious and desperate, warning about his elderly parents and health concerns. I replied that they were welcome to leave my property, and reminded him that he'd told me to get out yesterday. When he threatened legal action, I said I'd filed a formal trespass notice with the county sheriff and gave them until 6 p.m. to vacate. My parents pleaded for calm, worried about family and peace. I asked them, quietly, what about me? For years, I'd compromised and kept the peace. When was someone going to stand up for me? They had no satisfactory answer. That evening, I returned to the beach house and parked out of sight. People were loading cars and glaring, Kevin hauling a cooler to his truck, his father red-faced on the phone. The laughter from earlier was gone. They were not happy, and for the first time in a long while, neither was I, but I felt powerful in a way I hadn't allowed myself to be before. Jennifer stood on the porch, arms wrapped tightly around herself, looking smaller and more fragile than I'd ever seen her. A part of me wanted to feel sorry for her. After all, we'd grown up side by side, shared secrets, laughed until we cried. But then I remembered the way she'd looked at me the day before, cold, dismissive, choosing Kevin's convenience over my dignity. Sometimes, when people show you who they really are, you have to believe them. At exactly 6 o'clock, a sheriff's car rolled into the driveway. The deputy spoke briefly with Kevin, then began directing everyone out. There were no arrests, no shouting, just a calm but firm insistence that they all needed to leave immediately. I watched silently as the last car pulled away. Jennifer sitting stiffly in the passenger seat of Kevin's truck, not once looking back. The deputy approached my car. You the property owner? Yes, sir. They're all gone. I'd recommend checking for damage, maybe change the locks. Thank you, I said. He nodded and drove off, leaving me alone in the quiet. I sat there for several minutes, letting it all sink in. I'd actually done it. My family was furious. Jennifer probably hated me, and I had just burned bridges that might never be rebuilt. But as I walked through my front door, a wave of unexpected relief washed over me. For the first time in years, I'd stood up for myself, and it felt incredible. The feeling didn't last long. The house was a wreck. I moved from room to room, filming the mess with my phone. Red wine stains streaked my white carpet. Cigarette burns scarred the deck railing, even though I'd clearly marked it as The kitchen was chaos, piles of dishes, beer bottles everywhere, and what looked like a failed shrimp dinner scattered across the counters. But upstairs was worse. Someone had been in my bedroom, my private space. The bed was unmade, the sheets twisted and stained. My closet door hung open, and my jewelry box sat ajar. My heart sank as I checked inside. My grandmother's pearl necklace gone. I stared at the empty velvet slot, my chest tightening. That necklace wasn't just jewelry, it was the last thing I had from my grandmother, the woman who'd encouraged my curiosity, who'd believed in me when no one else did. She'd pressed that necklace into my hand before she passed, whispering, "Stay curious, stay strong." And now it was gone. I dialed Jennifer immediately. She answered on the fourth ring, her tone sharp and tired. "What now?" "Claire, my grandmother's pearl necklace is missing. Someone stole it." "That's ridiculous. Nobody stole anything. It was in my jewelry box yesterday, and now it's gone." "Who was in my room?" "I don't know. Maybe you misplaced it." I let out a cold laugh. "Right. I misplaced a necklace that never leaves my dresser. Jennifer, I'm filing a police report." "You wouldn't dare. Watch me. Either that necklace reappears by tomorrow morning, or I'm pressing charges against everyone who set foot in this house. I have names. I have photos. And I'll make this very public." There was a long silence before she spoke again. "You've changed, Claire. You used to be nice." "No," I said quietly. "I used to be a doormat." And I hung up. Within an hour, a female deputy officer Walsh arrived to take my statement. She was professional and kind but firm. When I mentioned the necklace, her expression hardened. "Do you have photos or insurance documentation?" "Yes. And I've written down everyone who was here." "Good. We'll need all of that," she said. "But I'll be honest, unless someone confesses or we find it, proving who took it won't be easy." "I understand." After she left, I cleaned for hours, scrubbing wine stains, washing sheets, disinfecting every surface strangers had touched. With every swipe of the sponge, my anger grew. This wasn't just about a ruined weekend. It was about being disrespected, violated, and taken for granted. My phone buzzed nonstop. Jennifer, Kevin, my mother, even Kevin's mother, all leaving messages. Each one blamed me for ruining the family gathering. None of them apologized. I listened to them once, then deleted them all. Near midnight, an unfamiliar number flashed on my screen. I almost ignored it but decided to answer. Claire, it's Melissa, Kevin's younger sister. We'd always gotten along during family events. Melissa, hi. I heard what happened, she said, and I just wanted to say, I'm sorry. Kevin was way out of line. I sank onto the couch, suddenly exhausted. Thank you, that means a lot. He's always been like this, she continued, entitled. My parents spoiled him, and Jennifer just enables it. I wasn't at the beach house, thank God. But when I heard the full story, I was disgusted. Did you hear about the necklace? I asked. What necklace? I told her everything. She cursed softly. Claire, Kevin's been having money problems. Bad ones. Some failed investments, big losses. He's desperate, and Jennifer doesn't know how deep it is. My stomach twisted. You think he took it? I don't know, she admitted, but honestly, I wouldn't put it past him. After we hung up, I sat in the dark, her words echoing in my mind. Suddenly, everything clicked. Jennifer pushing me to lend them money last month. Kevin's sudden eagerness to use my house instead of paying for one. Their defensiveness when I showed up unannounced. Kevin was broke. And stealing from me? That was a line I'd never imagined they'd cross. The next morning, I woke to 17 missed calls and dozens of texts all accusing me of tearing the family apart. Demanding I drop the police report. Not a single apology among them. Asterisk asterisk here story continues. If you want what happened next, subscribe our channel and wait for the next part.